these leaves are set by nature so they won't decompose, they won't be attacked by bugs very much, right? But if you can do this, you've now presented a whole load of edge for the bugs to get in and do it. That's all you need. This will be here at the end of our whole compost cycle if you don't do that. And notice I put some branchy, shrubby stuff on the first layer. And what do you suppose that pallet on the bottom's for?
Air.
It gets the air up. It allows the air to flow up through it, right? The other nice thing about having this pallet here is if I get too much water in the pile, what'll happen?
It'll drain.
It just drains right out it naturally. I would like to have you repeat after me. What do I need in a compost pile? Browns, and greens, and water and air. And where are the browns?
Here.
And where are the greens? Take this in any size pot, probably a little bigger pot than you think because you want to let it grow. You just kind of squiggle it into the dirt a little bit, and you keep it nice, fairly nicely watered. It doesn't even make any difference. And in about 2 weeks, you'll see a new piece of green come up. Malcolm gets fruit off of this.
Oh yeah.
You come up with nice fruits. A dry cleaner bag over them, and put an apple in, a slice of apple in there, and the apple gives off ethylene gas, which kicks this thing into reproduction mode. And we water it as we go. What most people do is they don't put enough water in the pile and it dries out. And once we've got a pile here, you think you can water the inside of that? You know, it just all goes, leaves make great shingles. The other thing we do is we do a layer of browns and a layer of greens. Every layer of browns and greens, what I like to do is fluff them together like you're mixing a salad. And the reason for that, a lot of people, you'll see books and they say, give it a nice layer of browns and a nice layer of greens. Very good human image. Terrible for microbes. Where the microbe's got to kind of take a chaw of nitrogen to get some pep, right? And take a chaw of carbon to go, and how does it go back and forth, right? And water will do that, but if you mix it up, right, you got browns and greens together. There's a whole bunch of catalogs and stuff that want to sell you compost starter, and you really feel bad and take one handful of dirt and throw it in your compost pile and you get 1,000,000 bugs. It's all you need. And then the other guys will just show up. Worm castings are kind of the top of the compost chain. The great thing the worm does is somehow in the worm's exudate, right, is an anti-bug, wonderful natural pesticide in there. The other thing is absolutely beautifully concentrated compost and nutrition, and it does beautifully on houseplants. Okay. Don't push down in it because we're trying to get the air. Just gently go in below it, catch just those 2 layers. See, I'm going in below it, and everything I'm doing is getting air in there. And we'll put the thermometer in here and see it hopefully get to 120, 130, 140 degrees where it really cooks up. When it cools down below 100, then I like to turn it. You take those kitchen scraps and you come and you make a nice little volcano hole, and you put your kitchen scraps in it, and then you close it over. That will keep the varmints away. The best little composting operation in all of Texas is the Eastside Cafe. At a minimum, you'll probably ought to do it every 2 weeks. Right? If you let it go after that, you just got a pile that's decomposing. You're not doing this composting process. It'll still work after a time, but it will run out of water and air and stop. Probably after turn number 4, is you stop adding greens, because probably up turn number 4 or 5, you don't add any more greens or any more browns, because what you want to do is get it to finish off. And let it heat up what it'll heat up, and then you let it finish, probably for 3 or 4 weeks anyway. And hopefully what will happen is things like earthworms will show up and finish it off for you. Your sun's going to come out, S-U-N, and it's going to dry this right out. Relatively dry bunch of leaves on here. Notice if the neighborhood would have any trouble of all the crap sticking out here that I'm covering those up. So I've got it pretty well covered up. I'm going to have to stuff it right here. What this is kind of the icing on the cake. This makes it look kind of nice if somebody would peek over and say, oh, that's pretty. It also is insulating it, and because we don't need to water this for a week or 2, and when we come back, that'll still be nice and watery. You said, nice looking compost pile you got there. Let me check it out. Let's just put that in there, and it'll be kind of fun. Too bad this is Sunday, because that ought to heat up over 100 degrees tonight if we did it right. We may not have quite enough greens in it, but they heat up pretty fast. And this will work almost as well in the winter as it does in the summer, because this is an internal reaction. Once it gets going, it might take longer to get going and not quite get as hot in the wintertime because it's losing heat. But the reaction doesn't require any sunlight. You can put this under a tree. You can put it in a very shady area. My recommendation is your shadiest area, because you won't garden there and nothing else will grow. And try to keep it away from a tree, because the tree will get smart, particularly if you don't use one of these pallets. There's some lovely stuff leaching down in the bottom here, and the tree will come in and rob it all. They'll put the roots in there and have a field day. The reason for all this air is this is aerobic, meaning it's using oxygen, and it will not stink. It's just, all we're doing here is pushing nature. It's the same thing that nature would do on a forest floor. We're just pushing it along. Instead of 14 years, it's 14 days you could get this, or 14 weeks. So as long as it stays aerobic, it won't smell. If it goes with no air, it will still compost, but it'll compost without the air, and that's anaerobic bacteria show up, and they stink. So that's a compost pile. What are the 4 things we use?
Ground, drains,
Water, and air.